Right. I wanted to zoom in now into quality. So, from your experience as a QCer before, and also as a dialogue writer and translator right now, how is quality in dubbing ensured? So, on the one hand, from what you said, there is this verification in the studio when the script is being read out. I understand there are some changes then. And also, you mentioned watching the recording together with the dubbed track, right, to verify. Could you guide us through anything that is quality related? What is quality to you? Uh, do you focus on lip sync? You said you focus on naturalness as well. Tell us a bit more how you see that.
Yeah, I had a little bit of an unusual dubbing journey, as you said, because I started with QCing and I didn't know what a good dubbing was. What I knew, because everyone knows when it's bad dubbing, right? When the lips don't sync, when the person says something, you're like, that's weird. I would never say it like this. So this is what I had to evaluate, let's say, good dubbing. But it was pretty hard for me because I was quite young at the time, and I arrived and I was like, okay, you need to do this again. And we were like, who's this guy? Like, he barely knows what he's talking about, and he asks us to come back to the studio and do it again. But I was basing myself on, I would say, common sense. Like, if I can't understand what you're saying, then it doesn't work. So I would say common sense is a good reference. Um, what I focus on is I would say lip sync kind of got back in my list of priorities in the sense that, but this is my personal view, and there are different I don't know if you say it in English, but like chapels, like different ways of seeing dubbing. There are people for who lip sync is of utmost importance, and it is important because you have to keep the illusion that the person is speaking your language. But I would say for me the most important is that it's natural, that it's ça se parle, as we say in French, that it's ping pong, it's natural, question answer. If something is weird, if something is written for the sake of lip sync, sometimes I can feel it, and I'm like, I'd rather have something that's less in sync but more impactful, more powerful. Sometimes you have a sentence and you're like, I can't write this because it's saying, one of the best example is dad, dad, and in French it's papa. So it doesn't, you can't do it if you're straight to the book. You can't put papa on dad, but what do you want to put other than that? You can't. So sometimes you have to accept that there's going to be papa on dad. So this is something that with the years I got, my relationship with sync has come and comes and it goes, and I kind of relaxed a little bit on this. But so I would say this. Uh, then I guess the acting of the comedians, of course, is important. But I'm not an artistic director, so I can't really say, even though I have opinions and feelings, that this is not good or it doesn't work. I used to put this on my, when I started, I used to put this on my forms, and I was like, do it again. But then you're working with people, confidence and sometimes ego, so it's to be managed very carefully, I would say. Uh, and also, comedians and artistic directors are very good. It's I'm often impressed by how good it is. Um, and also, what's important is the technical side. So mixing, for example, one of the main reasons I find this particular dubbing is not working is because it's mixed too loud. So the French track is going to be way louder, and dialogue is going to sort of come out of the film. Um, Whereas if you listen to the original, because it's usually recorded on set, it's in the film, And so one of the cliches about dubbing, and it's often true, is like it sounds added and it sounds louder. And especially when you have what we call the ambiance, ambient atmospheres, say in a restaurant, you have two people talking, and then behind you have the whole room of people dining and chatting. We have to write this sometimes. We have to write uh, basic sentences, how was your day, etc. And the comedians are going to record a sort of ambient sound. If this is mixed too loud, and then if you hear, "Hey, can you pass me the sandwich?" in the middle of a very intense scene, it doesn't work. And this is very common, I find. Maybe less and less. Maybe in the 90s and 2000 it was more common. But I would say an attention to mixing is important as well. And yeah, I think that's what I see. Of course, the preservation of the original tone and voice, humor, um, uh, language, type of language. If it's vulgar, don't try and tone it down. If it's very calm, don't try and make it vulgar. So it's common sense, I would say. Uh, as an adapter, you're not writing for you. You're writing for the original work. Uh, so sometimes it'd be very funny if you say that. Yes, but he doesn't say that. He says something else. And sometimes it's very tempting. Again, it's maybe a question of ego to be like, this would be so nice if I wrote this. That's not what he says or her, she says. So be careful to, let's say, respect the original work. And always keep in mind that you're trying to blend in what's already there and serve the purpose of the original creator. It's a very specific place to have, to be just to serve and to be behind, to be in the shadows and kind of make it available for the audience in the most faithful way possible. That's what I would say.
Yeah, it's such a creative job, right? And so there's creativity on the one hand, and there's quality control on the other hand. With I don't know if there's like a checklist of quality that every project goes through or not.
I used to have this. Again, it's a long time ago, and it was in another country, other practices. So, but I used to have a list. There was problems of the actor mumbled, so we don't understand. The actor, the acting is not good, so this was the delicate one. The mixing is not good, or needs to be improved. So there are categories, but I'd say now in France, where I'm working, it's addressed at different times. Say when we verify the adaptation, as I said before the recording. Obviously, it's not recorded, so we can't have any impact on the mix. But we work on the text, the energy of the dialogue. If it as we say in French, ça se répond. If it answers each other. If I say how you doing, and you're saying I can't find an example.
Well, something that doesn't respond to the question.
Yeah, or responds weirdly. Like I wouldn't respond like this. We have to be to look into that, and that's pretty much what we look into. Mm-hmm. If there's, as we say, too many words or too few words, because you have to give enough and not too much to the actor in order for he or she to be able to give the energy, the same energy. If you write too little, he's going to try to, it's going to be too few words. It's hard to describe like this, but like, if in the original you have 5 words and you only put 2, it doesn't work. So sometimes we adjust, we take out words, we have to rephrase, we have to, and in that sense, it's very creative. because you have to sometimes put the sentences upside down, or sometimes when a character says yes, you have to make him say no, because in the way that you turn the whole sequence, and if it works, if the person on the screen does this, you can't make him say yes, although maybe he's Indian, or I don't know, some cultures where it means the other way around. But